Welcome to the DTC Insider Podcast, where online business owners come to find actionable tips and tactics to grow their businesses. Now, here's your host, Brian Roisenthal.
Real quick before we continue with the episode, let me tell you something. If you own or work for a DTC brand and you're not hitting your revenue and profitability goals, you're not alone. Things are getting harder, and what used to work doesn't anymore. That's why it's important to find a business-oriented partner that's focused on improving the levers that will change the game for your business. And believe me, it is possible. At BSR Digital, to give you an example, we have recently helped our clients generate between, listen well, 80 and 700K in extra monthly revenue. If you'd like to explore how we could do the same for you and your business, head on over to bsrdigital.com and book a call with us. Hey, welcome to another episode. I'm Brian Roisenthal, your host, and today I'm super excited to welcome Charisse and Vicky Pasche, co-founders of Dapper Boi. Dapper Boi is an all-gender, size-inclusive clothing brand with a mission to inspire people to find confidence in their authenticity through clothing. Hey, Charisse. Hey, Vicky. Thanks for being on the show.
Hi, we're so excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, me too. And we just found out before hitting record that we both have twins. That's probably and we're
So
still
we're on
alive.
a wild journey together. We're still alive, but who knows tomorrow.
Let's celebrate the small wins and the big ones. Okay, guys. So why don't you start by telling the audience more about you, your background, and Dapper Boi?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Vicky. I'm the, co-founder and CEO of Dapper Boi. We really started the brand due to my own personal journey, shopping in the men's department, not made to fit my body in particular, all the things I went through, socially to just do that, what will people think, what fitting room do I go into, all the things. And the thing for me was that when I tried on the men's clothing and was confident enough to do that, it was everything to me. It was exactly who I wanted to, be on the outside. It represented me from the inside. But I realized along the line that those clothes really never fit my body. And it really took actually Charisse, my wife here, to realize that for me.
Yeah, she's a little hot mess in the beginning. I love all things fashion. It's kind of fun behind the scenes story. Vicky actually talked to me about her idea for Dapper Boi on our honeymoon. So we literally started our marriage with this brand, and I had no idea when I said yes, what a crazy ride it would be, like immediately from the start of our marriage. But it's been a fun ride, and even when we had first started dating, we had started dating because I had this business idea and I knew that Vicky was this marketing genius. So I was consulting her. We started working on it together. So I feel like business really is in our foundation and our relationship.
Nice. And since you're talking about it, how do you guys balance it? The personal life, business. Um, I have never worked with my wife, so I don't know if I could. How is it for you?
Yeah, well, on top of it, imagine we're also both two Leos. August 4th for Charisse and August 5th for me. So
Happy
imagine that.
birthday. Mine is tomorrow. We not only have twins, both of us, but our birthday are like 4 days apart. Yeah.
All the
Amazing.
Leos, happy early birthday and
Yes.
thank you.
It's Leo season. You know what? We joke around. Vicky's the CEO of Dapper Boi, but I'm the CEO of the house.
Hey, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
We have to have our own kind of like
Department.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it works. But no, in all reality, because we started, our whole relationship in business first, we were able to kind of separate them. We have strengths in different things. So it's kind of funny because we literally have desks side by side, but it's like we don't even talk to each other all day because we're just so zoned in into our own things. Then we'll just quickly like check in, like, okay, you got this, and it just works. Luck. I know it's not for everybody to work with their, partner, life partner, business partner, but it works for
Yeah.
us.
We
And
really
it's not
also are pretty efficient with communication. We start every morning like, what's the plan with the business? What's the plan at home? And we just divide and conquer.
That's amazing. And it's not only about, being able to work with your life partner. It's about, in this case, having the same mission, the same goal, the same project,
Mhm.
in common. Like I can say, hey, my wife or me, we could be, employees or team members of each other, but a different thing is saying, hey, honey, we have this mission in common. We share these values and this business idea we want to, create and pursue, for the rest of our lives or for let's say how many years we want to do it. So that's amazing that that happened to you guys. So great.
Yeah, and I think going back to that, just to finish off, why Charisse was kind of essential in this is because she, thought that I needed fixing in my, the
Mhm.
men's clothing I was wearing. She started bringing home clothes for me because she thought maybe I was just off with my style. And she's like a little fashionista and was bringing home all these clothes, but they
Mhm.
just still weren't fitting my body. And that's when, we both realized that men's clothing's not made to fit the curves of really anybody. And so that's really how Dapper Boy, the idea started.
Yeah.
Amazing. So for everyone who is, watching this or listening to this in the audio version, you know, they on camera, if you're not looking at them, they have a, beautiful smile. They are not nervous at all because, or I believe so, because they have been, you know, in the big leagues. They have been featured on Shark Tanks and CBS Mornings. So please, guys, why don't you tell me and the audience, of course, what was your experience with those two TV shows?
Yeah, what a wild ride this has been. So with Shark Tank in particular, the nerves were definitely there on a whole other level. It's exactly what it looks like on TV, except the seems so much longer, to get to these sharks. The music is going, and you're just like, we had our, in the beginning pitch, there's always like that quick pitch that's kind of, little cheesy to the sharks. We had memorized that and we just were like praying that we weren't going to just black out and blank when we got there, but
Mhm.
we pulled it off. um yeah, incredible experience. We didn't, spoiler alert, we didn't end up getting one of the sharks, but that was, it was meant to happen that
Yeah.
way, and we were happy it happened that way. And the exposure that we got from mainstream to have a brand like ours mainstream was absolutely incredible, especially with all the feedback we received after.
Yeah. I mean, we're just so fortunate. It's like we also got a father reaching out to us and saying, well, no, I'm sorry. We had a customer reach out to us and say that their dad was an avid Shark Tank watcher. They had an estranged relationship. And he finally reached out to her and said, I have 3 words for you. Check out Dapper Boy. And that's really what bonded them again. It almost took like a show that he was such a huge fan of to really understand some of our struggles. And, um, you know, even though we didn't get a deal, it's moments like that and hearing about how we have such an impact to people and their lives, it makes it all worth it.
Yeah, and I think it is one of those key moments in your life that you will never forget. And it's one of those moments as well that it's not only about the show, but about the
Yeah.
process as well, right?
Hmm.
All the preparation. I had here on the show a few people who have been on Shark Tank as well, and they all said the same thing about the preparation. Trying to reduce the pitch from I don't know how many minutes to
Yep.
one, or I don't remember how many it was, one or two, but it was like he said like it's a challenge. Like it was 10 minutes the first time I recorded it in my home. So
Hmm.
how am I going to reduce it to one or two? So it was a challenge for themselves, back then. So what was it like for you in terms of the process?
Yeah, it was just like that, exactly like that. And it was just so much practice over and over,
Mhm.
in front of everybody multiple times, all of their producers and everything like that too. But they were, in the background, they were very helpful in the
Yeah.
process and giving us confidence as well, to prepare ourselves for the show. So, yeah, just incredible, crazy opportunity. And, we had to, it was a lot of pressure though, too, because at that time, to be honest with you, and it was kind of, shown on the show, we had built this company up. We were doing over $1 million a year, just the two of us and two part-time employees bootstrapped, using our own resources, whatever we could do, pre-orders, things like that. And so when we were going on Shark Tank, it was during a low time for us because COVID delays hit us then, just like so many other businesses.
Mhm.
And so during that time, we couldn't ethically launch any new products. So in all 2022, this is when we filmed, we had no product launches. We were hanging on for dear life. We even sold our home during this time. And so we went on Shark Tank, and just in the background and what we're thinking about is almost coming from a place of desperation. And that's never a place you want to
Mhm.
be in. And so those nerves were there, and the expectations for the sharks to come on, was there, and so like in that moment and that day, and as soon as we were done filming, when we didn't get a shark, to be completely honest, it was such a gut-wrenching feeling that we didn't get that investment and things like
Mhm.
that. But at the same time, realizing afterwards, again, it wasn't about getting a sharp. It was about the impact that we have
Mhm.
on mainstream media watching that. And then at the same time, that morning of Shark Tank is when we actually got a real, lead investor that morning for $250,000. And so, everything was
Right.
aligned in that moment, and everything happened for a reason. But I will say, from that experience, what I've learned is just like confidence in us as leaders,
Mhm.
and talking to investors, and no matter how big they are, if they're a shark or an angel next door, just having that confidence in yourself and having these conversations, and confidence in your company and the mission
Right.
that you're on.
I was so proud of Vicky. It's very intimidating being on a show like that with, what was it, 4 or 5 sharks looking at you and telling you, I think, if anybody's tuned in, um, I really can summarize it and say that they really wanted us to niche down, and they said, stay within your community. But one thing we were expressing to them, and I say this all the time, is clothes have no gender. When you're so exclusive, you're no longer inclusive, right? So why would our brand only be for a certain community? And I was so, I love that Vicky has always stayed so steady and so strong in her vision of the brand, that we are going to be the next Levi's of all gender fashion. A pair of jeans doesn't dictate whether you are male or female. Anyone can wear our jeans. Our jeans are about, our clothing is about being body and size inclusive. And I think that was really a powerful message. And that's really the feedback that we've heard from so many viewers that tuned in. Um, and then even going on CBS, what an incredible opportunity to really change the narrative, and really present our brand in a way where it was like, this is our mission. This is why we're excited. This is why we do what we do through the ups and downs. It's all worth it because we hear so many incredible stories. I mean, we went on so fast, but wow, what a cool opportunity.
So your brand goes way back, right? In 2017 or something like that, or
2015. Yep.
2015. So you've been through COVID, because many businesses were born during COVID, and probably they had, I don't want to say an easier time, because of course it depends on each business, but one thing is to, start a business with certain rules that you know about, and a different thing is launching a business, rules changing a lot, supply chain issues and everything that many brands experienced through that time, and then trying to compete in that market. So, how do you see things how do you see things are going for brands in 2024 after all of those, you know, let's say different years for some of them, they were challenging. For some of them, it was like the best years of their lives. So what do you think that's going on in 2024?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing things getting better. I mean, from a supply chain perspective, it's been so much better here. And we've really, honed in on those relationships with our manufacturers in particular. When you're looking for investors and maybe it's not the right time, how can you get creative with, um, you know, getting capital for your company? And where we end up turning to also in this is to our manufacturers, ones that have been with us for years. And, it's just all about the authentic relationship. And so, we're able to, create those favorable terms with them, and then also I think, just moving forward here too, is that people want to know like behind the brand, and I think for us, no matter how big we scale this thing, the next Levi's of all gender fashion, which we keep manifesting and putting out into the world, is that I want people to always feel like they can reach out to us, that we are accessible, that they are part of a community, that they are, see everything transparently of like what this brand has gone through, where it's going, where we're at now. And I think that's the difference here, is just like creating those authentic connections all around, whether it's with your vendors, partners, investors, as well as your customers. And so that's been the difference. And it's really, during that time when we were struggling, we were trying to hold that all back. Everything looks perfect on social media, but what's been the difference for us, even getting, traction, from customers and investors, is the authentic connection and the vulnerable story. Once people found out what we were going through, what we were willing to do for this brand, that's when, things started changing for us. And they're like, wow, I see myself in you and I want to see you guys succeed. And so I think that's, when it comes to authentic connections, that's where we're going in 2025 and beyond.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see that, most brands sell, I'm not going to say the same things because they don't, but substitute products if you want. Of course,
Yep.
each brand is different, but people have, the choice to buy in multiple places.
Right,
So how to stand out even more in
right.
2024 is really, really important. And I wanted to ask you, but one thing that we see across the board, of course, is, the mission, how you position yourself. I mean, I don't know, guys, you listening or watching, this episode, but if you go to their website, it's alive. Like I see people dancing, like
Yeah.
you can tell that these people are after something. They are, they are cool. They, I don't know what you want to communicate. I think that everyone will feel different things, but it's definitely not just another website with a boring, image or whatever. It's alive. So
Mm.
Thank
what are some of the things that differentiate Dapper Boi from the competitors and that allowed it to be, where you're at today and grow over $1 million mark, bootstrapped?
Yep. It really was, again, all about connecting and authenticity. When
Mhm.
we started the brand, our videos, what it looked like was literally an iPhone, me and my friends trying on the, 4 samples that we had and making videos of it, from showcasing immediately the problem. Like we had these hidden snaps in our button-up shirts that go behind the button placket that prevents chest gap.
Mhm.
So, what's the first thing somebody sees? It's the problem that everybody can relate to. And it's like that open gap that you can see the chest with.
Mhm.
Like, do you ever have this problem? What about this? And then showing it in this almost like, for us, it was a comedy. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We want people to feel like they're part of our friend group.
Mhm.
And so it's like relating in that way to people made the difference for us. And so again, like always seeing behind the brand is how we built this brand and a community really to get behind the mission of Dapper Boi. So, from a marketing perspective, it's always been a lot of content, a lot of just showing diversity in models is so
Mhm.
key. So anybody watching can relate in some way.
I think also it was the models that we chose. Like we were always very intentional and aware of create or showing a diverse lineup of models. So in the beginning, it was just a lot of our friends. And so there was consistency with the models that they saw. And it was interesting to see the customers' emails that came in like, hey, what size is Celeste? I think I have her body style and her, I may be the same size. Can you tell me what size she's wearing? And I think it's really cool that Vicky from the very beginning has been front and center in a lot of the marketing videos. It can be a challenge to put yourself out there, but now people are really starting, when we say Dapper Boy, it's like really personifying the brand. They see themselves as a Dapper Boy. We also do like model contests, and people, it's not just, hey, why do you want to be a model for Dapper Boy? But how does Dapper Boy make you feel? What does it feel like when you wear a pair of jeans, or what was the problem? And how do you think Dapper Boy helps you solve that problem? So we've really brought in our customers. We're not afraid to put our face out there and talk about the problem that we're having also, but really instead of focusing on the problem, we also focus on the confidence that we want our customers to feel.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about on our website, which we appreciate, by the way, there's a dance video that we did. It's called the movement video. And that was with the, purpose there. We really showcase a variety of models of different genders. We have trans folks in there, plus size, small folk, like every different person we could think of, we were putting in that video and just showing their confidence in dancing, in the movement through the clothes and the movement for the people. And so yeah, what a wild ride. It's exciting times.
Yeah, that I actually love it, and you have a beautiful website. And there's one more thing you have, I think, below the main hero section, in which you showcase products by the with the videos. So you have like the video, showcasing the product, and below you have like the product thumbnail, or the small image and the product name, the price. So it's a different way. Are you guys currently testing it, or have you noticed a huge increase in sales by doing that?
Yeah, I think it's, there's influencers and then there's also being influenced, and you want to see the movement of the clothing. So we really have started adding the video aspect, and it becomes like a social feed where you can see it on different styles and people really talking about it, because it's no longer the like commercials on TV, or, it's real people talking about how they feel in the clothes. And I think that's how people become influenced. So we thought that that was an important addition to our website.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And one thing you mentioned, I wanted to ask you before I forget. It's the following. At the agency, we work with many brands, and not not every founder or somebody, even if it's not the founder from the team, wants to get out there, on behalf of the brand. So what could you tell those people? Because I can clearly see here in the pod that we have had many of founders who are in front of camera, and they say always with me on the pod, on LinkedIn, or everywhere they are present on, they say how important it is for brands to uh, or for brand founders to get out there on behalf of their brands. So what could you tell these people?
Yeah, it wasn't easy for me in the beginning at all, but it's been years now. And again, this was kind of a recent revelation I've had. It was some advice that I received after going to a workshop. It's called the Andrea Quinn workshop. Incredible, by the way, for any woman to take. But the message is simple, and it's get out of your own way. Sometimes it's hard because you're thinking personally, what are people going to think about you, and how are they going to receive you and all that. But again, it's thinking about your customer. Why, for us, we're solving a huge problem when it comes to confidence and all that. So when people can relate to me personally, I have to put my own feelings and nerves aside, because it's for the bigger impact of the brand. So I'm about to put out my own personal vulnerable journey here, which I'm very nervous about. It's the most vulnerable I've ever been. So I was an athlete my entire life, and I know what I'm doing in the gym, but at the same time, I've gained a ton of weight. Business is stressful and I'm not aligned completely. And that's one thing for myself personally is that I feel like, especially when we're fundraising, like everything will come into place when I am aligned.
Mhm.
And so one of the things for me is getting back to the gym and becoming healthy again. I need to lose the weight and all the things. But part of that too, when it comes to Dapper Boy, is the apparel. Like when I go to the men's side of this, when I'm looking for workout apparel, I have the same problems as I do shopping with all the other products that we have. And so we've been working on this line for I think over a year now.
Yeah, a long
And
time.
so I just finally approved some samples and I'm about to document my entire life here and getting to health in this workout apparel,
Mhm.
addressing the issues that so many of us have of being former athletes, knowing what we're doing in the gym, and not having the confidence to get back to the gym. What are people going to think of you? Like people
Mhm.
think when I go to the gym, like I don't know what I'm doing, but I actually do. And so it's like getting that confidence, first stepping into the clothes and then stepping into the gym.
Right.
And so that's another vulnerable ride I'm about to go on here. It just doesn't stop the vulnerability. But
Yeah.
I think that so many people can relate, and the impact it's going to have is going to be amazing.
I think for myself, it was like overwhelming to me. I was like, I just want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do all the things that I'm good at in business. I don't want to also be an influencer. But if I can't speak to the brand and if I can't, I feel like I'm going to have the most conviction talking about why this, brings confidence because I helped Vicky through the process the entire time. I was able to empathize with her situation. But also, I think that it is important to get out in front of the camera because now, especially being a mom, I dream of a world where my kids can just be themselves and no longer are we talking about gender or, gender expression or, all the things that people are judged for, all the labels. And so because, talking from a partner or even a parent, I think it is important to put our story out there because people want to be able to relate and understand.
Yeah, yeah, that's really important. So what's what I always tell the everyone I talk to about this, getting out there on behalf of their brand is something I like. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I think that it's important personally, which is if you think that what you offer is benefit, like has, let's say, is offering like a benefit for your audience, is doing some good to your audience, why not screaming it out loud? Why not going out there and
Yeah.
tell more people about it, right?
Mhm.
I I get it. It's not me for it's not easy for me. I mean, getting in front of a camera to record
Mhm.
something silly for social or even this, right? So I'm not saying it's easy. As you say, it's not easy. But if you don't do it, who is going to do it for you? Or in the same way that you will. That being
Yes.
said, I have had brands like I don't know. You guys know the brand Battle Box.
I don't think
No,
so.
no.
Battle Box. They are like they are a brand that they even have a TV show on Netflix. They are amazing. They are for um, people who loves the outdoor and adventure. So they offer a subscription box, and they are amazing. I don't know if you've heard about the recently launched podcast called Awesome. It's ASOM. It's Jimmy Kim, the founder of Sandlane, Brian McDonald. He's the VP of marketing or head of marketing at Almost Pride, and two more people. One of them is the CEO at Battlebox, and they talk
Mm.
about how they did it. And they said, they didn't want to be in front of a camera, but they found
Right.
a cash paying customer who was already getting in front of a camera for free, paying for products. He wasn't telling the brand about it, but many people were buying because of him. As soon as they found out,
Mhm.
they started to say, hey, let's cut a deal. Let's give you free product, keep doing what you do. Then that evolved, and he's now a full-time creator. He's a long beard, the guy that you see on camera, Brandon. And you can tell how passionate he is. I was telling, John Roman, the CEO, when I interviewed him on the show, like he sounds pretty passionate in the videos. And he said he was a cash paying customer first. So there is a way to find a
Right.
genuine voice, even if it's not the founder's voice. However, of course, it requires more, job, and you need to find that one person that will do it for you.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an intense journey for sure, but it's totally worth it. I completely get it and understand. I mean, we have people again waiting for the next drop, and those stories again of just relating are so key. Again for even the conversion. But UGC has been also a huge game changer for us. We weren't really working with influencers in the past,
Yeah.
but recently started over the last few months here, and it's been awesome. And it's real, genuine responses from these influencers and how they look so great in the product.
Yeah.
It's been exciting.
Would you mind breaking down the process used to successfully, get UGC? Because it's a hot topic in 2024. It's like many people say UGC is dead, and I think what they refer to is AGC, which is actor generated, content, but it's still a subset of UGC if you want.
Right.
So it's like people can tell what's fake and what's not, and most of the times. So it's like,
Right.
how can you get content from creators that is genuine? So yeah, what's the process you're using? I'm curious.
Yeah. So, well, first and foremost, we are working with a company called Reversion, which has been excellent. They're the ones that are kind of scouting influencers to work with us. And
Or
from
Lionize.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Lionize. And they've been excellent at really scouting out influencers to work with us, and it is a little bit of a process because, we have a wide array of products. One thing that may work for one influencer is, different for another influencer. So we are also trying to diversify that because we want to show lots of different people. But then also when we see a creator out there where we think they're going to be a perfect fit for Dapper Boi, I DM them directly. And I think that's the cool thing about putting our face on the brand and telling our founder story and all the things. We always want people to feel very connected with us. So it's not a bot AI writing in the DMs, it's me. So we always want to have that um, we always want to be accessible. So, I will reach out to them and we have a genuine conversation. And if it's aligned, we send them something and we ask them, hey, if this seems like, something that you feel confident in, how do you feel about, putting out some content for us? We'd really appreciate it. And a lot of times they are open because they know the brand and the mission that we stand behind, and they're happy to support.
Yeah, and then from there, depending on the content that they give us, again, it has to be genuine. We're on the same page with that too. We're not just looking for any content here. It needs to be an aligned influencer and their content on par with even like Dapper Boys kind of content. But in addition to that, we'll ask them afterwards, are you comfortable with us putting paid advertisement behind it? And so then we create paid ads with these, influencer videos,
Mhm.
and they are really working for us.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. And it's cool again because we are having direct dialogue with these influencers. Most of them have turned into our really good friends.
It's true.
So it's really awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So you send them product, and then if they feel like it, they will record something for you, right? So, and do you have in mind more or less what percentage of those influencers you reach out to actually record something, more or less?
We get a pretty good return. I'd say like 90% of the people that we reach.
90%?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really, really good because, we stand behind our product. We know that once they wear it, that it's they're going to like it, but again, we are looking at creators and seeing what their style is, and we have an idea if Dapper Boy is going to work for them.
Yeah, we're pretty selective at the same time. We're not reaching out to a ton all at one time because again, we're still in that growth phase where inventory is slim, as we're fundraising here too. So that's why it's so high. It's very strategic, who we're selecting.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. So talking about growth now, I would love to start talking about, customer acquisition, what you guys have been testing so far in terms of channels first, and then we can talk about, strategies or something else. I do have some questions here. So which channel is working for you the most to acquire customers?
Yeah, I would say we're definitely hardcore still into Meta. We've started more so dabbling into TikTok as well, and know that that's going to be an avenue we're really going to be focusing on now, actually. Doing more of like the live streaming and things like that seem to be very successful, especially with TikTok Shop in particular.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Google ads. And then, but our bread and butter really is our email conversion. I'd say like we have a 51% repeat customer rate. So our customers, we do typically when we have a product drop, we have customers that are repeat customers, and we actually have them on a certain segment in our email list. They get 24-hour early access, and same thing on we have a mobile app. So we give them 24-hour early access. And it's interesting, we had a t-shirt pack. We nearly sold out on the first day, even before we did like the big announcement.
To the rest of the audience.
Right.
Yeah. For us, it's really those repeat customers, but at the same time, strategies for new customers, we've and we're working on this too as we're able to get more budget, but it's we have 4 different customer personas that we're trying to hit every time. So the first one is, again, we're proud lesbian owners. This is not for a lesbian brand, as some people might think we are, but we started within the LGBTQ community, and it may be women that look more like me, maybe more like masculine presenting. We
Mhm.
haven't even touched the iceberg within the community here. And so, we're really, and those are our people. Those are a community that really have been, our ride or dies from the beginning. In addition to that, though, as we go mainstream with purpose here, because we're not just trying to be, in the Pride section during the month of June in Target, we're really going here mainstream with purpose so that everybody can feel comfortable shopping. Now we're thinking through these other customer personas. It could be a cis straight man, that has the same exact problem as me shopping in the men's department, that has some curves here and
Mhm.
typically has to buy, 2 sizes too big to get around the curves, but it's unflattering now everywhere else. Or athletic folks that also, maybe have thicker thighs or, muscular, that may just fit into Dapper Boy better. The third being, maybe more feminine presenting women that need that chest gap fix, with their button-up shirts, or
Right.
don't have functional pockets today, which still exists, which is ridiculous that you basically stop knuckles deep with women's pockets.
Right.
So the deep pockets, those things are just really going to shine for them. And then the fourth really just being, people that are just down for the mission. It's just a cool brand, that you want to be a part of with the mission.
Mhm.
We have cool clothes that will fit all body types and all people. And, with over 50% of Gen Z shopping outside of their gender, this is the group here too that's just going to see the vision as we're going mainstream and wanting to be a part of it.
And how do you address each of those customer profiles through Meta or
Yep.
any?
So it's the journey. So like, what's the first ad that they see?
Mhm.
It's, themselves in the ad, and it's the problem. It's again going back to our roots of like, what's the thumb stop? It's like showcasing the problem immediately that they can resonate with a person that looks like them. And so that's like the first ad. But then there's also, behind the brand, like what's the ad set that they're always going to see? It's a multiple, it's not just showing the product, although those ads work great too. But it's like catalog ads and things like that. But
brand building.
right, but there's like behind the brand, the mission of the brand, but then there's also the UGC, there's reviews, like there's like 5 kind of like different kinds of ads that we're putting out there, because if it takes them 7 times to make a decision to actually shop with Dapper Boy, we want to see all the reasons why and stack it so that they will make the,
And
will
then at
convert.
the end, that's when you offer an enticing discount, to get them in. So
Right.
yeah, really building it up.
Different landing pages for, let's say, for each experience, because I get it could be tough as well to identify all of them accurately in today's era of meta, but maybe you pull it off. So if they see one type of ad targeting one type of one profile, would they go to one landing page different than the other ones?
Right now, no, it's going just to our overall site, but I think that's a great idea.
Because having what we do is not only having landing pages for products, but for customer profiles. If
Right.
as you said, if you look like X, Y, or Z, whatever, you want an experience, and maybe you don't know what they are looking for, if it's pants, shirts, whatever. So it's not about the product. Many times it's about who they, how they want to look like, and or how they're, as I always say, the transformation story. Now they're struggling with this when they go to the store. Now they don't need to struggle with this anymore, and here's something for them. So they have the sections on the website.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be pretty cool. It's a challenge many times you know, to be really laser targeted in the, like, to pull it off accurately from the ads, because you cannot tell unless you have the proper structure who is seeing each ad. You
Right.
can measure the thumbs up, ratio and many other things, but still, you don't know if it's me, like, seeing an ad that maybe it's not for me, but I thought it was fun. So I get an ad to the landing page, X, whatever. But yeah, I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. At least I think it makes sense. It works. Then if it doesn't, don't blame me.
Right. The whole goal is to fail fast, right? Like we got
Yeah.
to try it all.
Then
Testing.
talking about retention now a little bit, you mentioned already that you have an email list that is like a customer base for who is loyal to you, that everything, probably you sell out or almost sell out before the products are released because of this early access thing that you do. Could you please say that again?
Yeah, so how we really start bootstrap the brand is actually how we got to this point. And so how what we were doing is we would literally have, let's call it 3 different color button-up shirts, and we do a whole product launch behind it and a build up. And so we would say, "Hey guys, get in on this campaign. We're only going to have 300 of them. Get in now." So that created, the FOMO, the urgency. And
Yeah.
we offered intro pricing. So intro pricing for us was offering a discount up front, when launching a product instead of at the end of the product's life, so that way we could, sell out. We never want to sit on inventory, which ended up being almost hurting us too when it's like when we're out completely, especially during the COVID delays. But it also built up our database. So every time we launched something, we would just sell out because, again, the FOMO, and it was always, a seasonal product. We have our set products like t-shirts, button-ups, jeans, but maybe it's a new colorway. So
Yeah.
people are always waiting for that next drop. They were always knowing that in the last, 9 years, we built up that we are going to sell out. So people are just ready, for that drop
Right.
every single time. And so that's how, we were able to get such a high repeat customer rate.
That's amazing. And do you have, I mean, you do have a community, because a community could be an email list as well, but sometimes it could be way more. Do you, where, let's say, does your community live, if you want to put it in some way? Do you have a Facebook group, Slack channel, school, workspace, or anything else? Or is it just email for now?
It's really email and honestly Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Instagram is probably our biggest channel actually right now. Just
Yeah.
being able to really communicate with our customers. We do a lot of different stories. As Charisse mentioned earlier, we did a model contest where everyone wants to become, every day people are like, how can I be a Dapper Boi model?
Yep.
And so we do model contests, and people submit photos and vote for the next Dapper Boi model. And, we did it recently. We flew somebody to San Diego. Actually, she was in driving distance, and we got to do a whole day of photo shoot, interview them on their life and why Dapper Boi is important for their confidence, and do a whole photo shoot with them.
I think we called it a transformation series. So like for someone like Vicky or someone that may look like Vicky, it's a whole process. Like, the first time you decide to cut your hair, once you cut your hair, the reason why our clothes exude so much confidence is because you want to reflect how you feel on the inside, on the outside, and you want to wear it well, right? So when we did that transformation series with the model contest, it was really cool to even hear what they were doing in order to be the winner. They were very shy, very introverted, but this was so important to them. Every time they went somewhere, they introduced themselves, whether they were buying a coffee or they were going to a concert. They were telling people all around them about this model contest and what it meant to them. They went to the Beyonce concert and they created like a little, I don't know, like a QR code or something with their profile, and they airdropped it to everyone within distance around them.
This person got
it was
over
awesome.
17,000 votes. Like,
Incredible.
it was just
Within
like,
a 4-week span.
yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing story. I love it. I love it. I think, by the way, I know we are recording and we are live, no pressure at all. But I think you do have currently a beautiful community. And I think it could be amazing if it could have a home that is not only email, because I think it could trigger a lot of conversations related to, self-confidence. It could be not only about fashion, of course, why not, but it could be many things. And every brand that with a strong personality or a unique personality as well, such as your brand, they all love what happens in their community. And the same rules apply, or similar rules apply to the ones you currently apply with your app or email list. Is like the early access stuff,
Yes.
those stuff, or probably the it's only accessible for or only available for those people, some of the stuff. So I think it would be pretty cool for you, or not even for you. This is not even about you only.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about them as well, right? So I think it could be pretty cool, or not, but maybe you can find out. You can survey them. You can ask them, of course, if you want to, right? But I think it would be great to build, uh, a stronger bond, even stronger bond than the one you're already building with your community.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a great idea. And as we started, and this is in the past, and I don't think it's relevant now. It's got to be somewhere, but we had a Facebook group, and we still do. But it's like, that's a job in itself. And as we're growing our team and expanding, it's the consistency that's key. And I think that's a great idea. So when we're ready for that initiative, with the people to back it and ready to be consistent with it, I love it and I appreciate it.
Requires a lot of job, a lot of time, a lot of efforts if you want to do it right, for sure. But if you do
Yeah.
have the community sitting in an email list in your social,
Right.
then it's calling them all to be there. The first 100 who join this group will have X. The second 100 will, or the first 1,000, whatever, right?
Yes.
And they will love it because it's not about selling product. It's about everything else. It's about
Yes.
building for real, connections, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I love it. I love it.
Amazing. So I have 1,000 more questions for you, and I'm not sure we'll make time for all of them, but I will ask you one or two more if you don't mind. Uh,
Sure.
we've been talking about this differentiation on your website, which again, for those listening to this or watching this, please go ahead and check it. I'm going to put in the show notes, as always, at the ddcinsider.com. When you find the episode, it will be there, unless you are already there, of course. So you have a 3D style mate you call it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
what's it about?
Yeah, StyleMate Jordan. So we've partnered with a tech company called Couture Technologies. And so this is phase one right now. And so I don't know if you all remember the movie Clueless, but in the movie, there's a Cher and she's building her outfits for each day. So she can basically see what's in her closet and see it digitally and see what the outfits would look like before she even puts it on. And so that's what StyleMate Jordan is right now in its first phase. And so people can come on and see exactly, what outfits would go well together. You could put on a pair of indigo jeans, a white pair of shoes and a black t-shirt and see how it's going to look put together. So that's phase one. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's also like for a lot of people going through the journey, let's say they just cut off their hair and they're like, oh my gosh, I have this totally different style that I've always wanted to dress like. How would that look? How do I piece things together? And it's a really cool way to build your closet, build an outfit, see how different things look. But it's also on our end really helps increase AOV as well. If they're buying a pair of jeans, hey, what else can I add to this? What other things can I do to, you know, help build each customer's
Wardrobe.
customer experience and wardrobe.
Yeah. But really what's we're excited about is phase two. And so, we've talked to a ton of like different AI and virtual reality companies out there, but nobody has like not a genderless avatar, And so phase two of this is going to be a complete game changer. And it will be that. So basically what you're going to be able to do eventually on our site is take a picture of yourself and see, exactly what your Dapper Boy size is going to be and see exactly what each product is going to look like on your body. You can see a heat map of where it might be tight, where it might be loose. And that is going to be a complete game changer, especially being the very first to be completely, all gender. So you could come on, it doesn't matter male or woman, female, you can actually see it on your body. It's about, we believe the shopping experience should be based on body type and style preference, leaving gender out of the equation.
Right. And it's a completely safe shopping experience, for some people in the LGBT community going into, like Vicky, if she were to go into the men's department, for some department stores that might not feel safe. And so it's really cool that they can shop from their home and see how it looks and,
and feel confident in the size that they're choosing, because we really have some hybrid sizing going on. And so I know it can be intimidating for folks, like what size am I? And it might stop them from making the purchase. But I think being able to see it on your body, it completely changes the game here.
Amazing. Well, I know we are on time, so last question I got for you both is the following. I always like asking the guests who come here on the show about if you have a book that you loved that you would like to share with the audience. And by the way, those books are shared in the list we put together every year with the books mentioned here on the show. Do you have any, by any chance, to share with the audience?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to say 10x is easier than 2x. And it was a recommendation from a fellow entrepreneur, Sherry Deutschman, who I think she sold her company for like $40 million. And we had to sit down with her, talking about investment strategies. And she said, you got to go read this book. We ended up doing a retreat with two of our friends from another business. Feel Swell Experiences. And we had a retreat where we read the book together. And, it's really about having the mindset of 10x growth, instead of 2x and looking at, next month, it's big picture thinking always.
I like that.
It's just a phenomenal book.
Yeah.
I like
And sorry, go ahead.
Yep.
No, I was going to say that I love it, and I love the fact that it's not in the list yet. So I love that we have a new one.
Yes.
yay.
Awesome.
Speaking of storytelling and founders, there's a book called Lunch with Lucy, and it's Sherry Deutschman's founder story that Vicky was talking about. She had just sold her company, but she didn't do it in a way that was traditional. We talk about how only 2% of female founded companies get venture capital, and she was able to do it in such a beautiful way. So she talks about how every single person in her organization was important, whether you were the janitor or a fellow executive. So she really talked about making everybody invested in the bottom line, and that's how she was giving out employee bonuses. She was also very crucial in increasing minimum wage, because she really felt that if you are paid right and you are invested in the business and the growth, literally from all different levels in the company, that the company can do well, because everybody wants to see everybody shine. She's such an incredible founder, and it was such a good book.
Amazing. Well, it was a pleasure to have you both here. I had a lot of fun,
Mhm.
and I think it was a really, really interesting episode. So thank you for coming on the show. And for those who want to, reach out to you or learn more about you and Dapper Boy, where can they go?
Yeah, so on Instagram, we have a personal one called Meet the Pashas. It really shows behind the brand of Dapper Boy and our everyday lives. We're also part of this incredible film called Show Her the Money. It was all during the time when we were filming with Shark Tank. There was a film crew that followed us around during some very vulnerable times. But we're on a film tour right now, traveling to private screenings, all that. ShowHerTheMoneyMovie.com, where you can really see some crazy stuff that happened, along with some amazing other founder stories and investor stories as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then
Yeah.
and then the website is dapperboy.com. On TikTok, we're Dapper Boy Squad. And then we also have our own website. It's meetthepashas.com.
You are everywhere, literally. So no excuses to find these two beautiful human beings. And as I said before, everything is in our on our website and at the ddcinsider.com. When you find the episode, you will find all the show notes, including all of these links and social handles. So Vicky and Charisse, thank you for being here on the show. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank
Yes,
you. It
thank
was a
you.
blast. Thank you so much.
This episode was brought to you by BSR Digital. We help DTC brands grow through paid ads and email marketing campaigns. If you'd like us to help your business grow, head on over to bsrdigital.com and schedule a call with us.